Good morning, everyone. In today's video, I want to discuss the problem with the rapidly aging and declining population of Japan, or just in general any country. As I see it, the impact of the ever-aging population and the declining population can cause devastating disruptions in the society's support systems. So when a society doesn't have enough workers or income to support like the built infrastructure they have, the many people who depend on this infrastructure will come to harm. The research I'm doing is on depopulation is often overlooked because why would people care about a shrinking population? But this is an extremely important topic to consider because the shrinking physical space that comes with depopulation can slowly destroy any nation. My efforts here today would help to identify, prevent, and treat population decline, and I hope that more people will look at it. Looking at Japan, 10% of the people are 80 years or older, and about 30% of the 125 million population is 65 and older, which is one of the highest percentages in the world. Another figure shows that the number of Japanese nationals in the country fell by about 800,000 people in 2022, the 14th consecutive year of decline. This aging and declining population has been and will continue to hurt Japan for generations. The population of people who will be out of working ability and need to be taken care of will continue to grow, but the population of workers who will take care of them will continue to shrink. This aging population will put a huge strain on the Japanese economy as well. The International Monetary Fund, a major financial agency of the United Nations, reports how a more elderly and reduced population, which means relatively more retirees, a smaller labor force, and a shrinking labor-based tax pool, also point to the challenge of financing social security frameworks. They explain that as the population ages, public expenditure on healthcare, long-term care, and pensions naturally rise. So when the tax-paying labor force is in decline, financing the rise in public spending can be problematic. What this means is that with Japan's shrinking and aging population, less people are able to work, pay the support systems for the population as a whole. This is relevant because Japan is already deteriorating, falling dramatically from its position as one of the strongest and fastest growing economies in the world. Even the Prime Minister Fumio Kishida states how
our nation is on the verge of whether it can maintain its social functions.
Japan needs to take action before this matter becomes even worse, before they fall into an economic depression and they have a breakdown in government care systems. And I see that the main causes of this declining population are the toxic and unsustainable work environments, as well as the reluctance on foreign migration. As I said before, one of the main causes of Japan's population decline is the harsh economic environment that makes raising multiple children unsustainable. You see, in Japanese society, cultural norms dictate that Japanese women are responsible for work that needs to be done at home, such as taking care of children. And all this work needs to be done for free. This might not seem much, but what this means for women is that they are missing about 111 trillion yen in pay, which is about 761 billion US dollars. All this extra unpaid work at home is done on top of a demanding and paying job that often overworks people. According to the East Asian Forum, workers need to be ready for extended work hours and a willingness to respond unquestionably to last-minute managerial demands, and companies' implicit request to forego time with family in lieu of projects at work. Piling so much responsibility in and out of work is very detrimental to a person's health, but doing anything less would be detrimental to a person's financial security. Women across Japan are seeing a problem with solo parenting and having a dilemma between work life and family life. They're becoming discouraged from having children because caring for a child leaves them too distracted and too tired to focus on building their careers. Look at how women who want to be mothers are essentially barred from earning a better wage due to highly demanding childcare. Many women lean towards choosing their company over their family. Even if mothers are looking to become irregular workers to be able to spend time with their children, being a part-time employee also exacerbates the economic problems for having children. Irregular workers are people who place together temporary and part-time jobs with low salaries with no benefits. And according to POS, a group whose focus is to support young people in labor unions. These irregular employees earn on average about $1,800 a month, but spend much of that money on rent, paying back their college loans, and paying into the Japanese social security programs. If someone spends most of their paycheck on necessary basic living expenses, they won't have much money left to care for anyone else but themselves. Being that Japan's workforce has a large population, about 21 million irregular workers compared to their 56.8 million workers as of 2023, millions of poor Japanese people face problems with financial insecurity and are not financially ready to have kids, contributing to the declining birth rates, which only push the country further and further toward a depression. To reduce the rate of depopulation in Japan, an economic solution would help fund childcare efforts. For example, in the town of Nagi, families receive a one-time 100,000 yen payment for their first child, 150,000 yen for their second, and as much as 400,000 yen for their fifth child. Following the payment, between 2005 and 2014, the town's fertility rate doubled from 1.4 to 2.8, which is now 2.3 as of 2019. What these payments did was give funding to parents to offset the financial costs that burdened them before. The radical increase in birth rates that followed tells the success story of this town of Nagi, but it could be replicated more. The government could expand upon this program to everywhere in Japan in order to aid with everyone's childcare. Another example that showed great benefit was when the government announced a 2 trillion yen spending package to expand upon free preschool for children, which also cut the waiting times for daycare centers. As a result, the number of children on the waiting list for daycare centers nationwide slipped below 20,000 for the first time in 10 years, according to the Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare. Originally, many people had to choose between their jobs and their life at home, but that situation can change. Along with the government sponsor, many parents can now earn a living, as well as not have to worry about their child because of the more abundant access to daycare and preschools. Though these systems will raise taxes on people for some time, they will help prevent the economic downfall that comes from depopulation. Japan's declining population is a problem stemming from the country's hostile economic environment. This problem can be solved by reforming policies at work, reforming policies in immigration, and covering more overall funding in childcare development. The strength of these solutions is that they address the difficulties of raising a child, though it is still limited to if these Japanese people want to have a child or not. These solutions could be difficult to implement as well, since they involve getting people behind changing traditions, accepting immigration, and paying a little bit extra in taxes. But if these solutions are not implemented, it could mean that Japan as a whole could slowly die off. Less people would be working to supply resources to care for the ever-aging population, the government would stop receiving enough money to manage infrastructure, and a Japanese Great Economic Depression would ruin the lives of many. Now, it isn't just a problem in Japan. We have seen it all across Asia and the world. We have seen it in South Korea, Greece, China, and so on. Now, I would continue researching. An avenue I would explore would be the use of robots and tech to help care for the people and possibly help the businesses around the world.
Alright, so this is my art piece for my senior project. The art medium is digital arts, more specifically digital illustration. I use Adobe Illustrator as my tool. I learned how to layer my stuff, use brushes and custom brushes. The shape builder tool is pretty helpful with combining some shapes and cutting them out, like these shadows over here. I used this kind of, I guess, selection tool, yeah, to change some anchor points. This black one, I changed the anchor points a lot. This shape tool. That's about the tools I used. So what my art piece is supposed to depict is the life of an overworked worker. So you can see they've worked a lot of overtime into the night, and they've passed out at their desk. I use a lot of contrast with my light and darks to show the main subjects, like these flowers down here. They're kind of glowing a little bit because, and I did that to accentuate their meaning, which I'll get to later. And they did that by using light layers. So I have a dark layer, which is basically the shadow, and what I did was put it above it to kind of make it glow a little bit. As you can see, if I put it below my dark, it gets lost in all that black. There's also this leading line that goes up toward here, and what my piece is kind of separated into is down here, which is like what the problem is, the middle, how it affects the people of Japan, and the solutions we could have. So, getting to my sections down here. It's supposed to be empty cubicles with little features such as this vacant sign and this anti-immigration poster, as well as these red blobs. And what these red blobs are supposed to be the flowers of Licorice radiata. These flowers have a special meaning to them. They mean they originally come from Japan, China, and Korea, countries with the declining populations, and they mean death. It means that because they grow around cemeteries a lot. And what I'm trying to get here with this point is that if Japan continues to overwork their workers like this and support these anti-immigration policies, we're gonna have more empty cubicles like this, and more empty offices in general. Yeah, over here. Oh yeah, these flowers also have a meaning of reincarnation, because it's almost like the life from those cemeteries go into the flowers themselves. And so I want to add an aspect of kind of hope with this open door over here, which is supposed to show, oh, help could be on the way by people coming in and I guess filling these offices.